and welcome to the Property Legacy Podcast. We are back and today is our fourth episode. Flying through them, aren't we?
We're getting there, aren't we?
Yes.
Not doing too bad.
So today's episode is all about SSAS Pensions and what we are doing with ours in particular. So this is probably one of the biggest projects for our own business, PPS Property Management, of the year, and it's something that has been in the works for quite some time. So we're excited to kind of tell you a little bit more about it, speak about the SSAS pension process, and just get to the nitty-gritty of exactly what SSAS pensions are and how you can use them for your benefit for your business. So if you'd like to introduce us.
I'm Steve Potter, father of Alice Potter, and this podcast series is for me explaining to Alice how to do property and hopefully explaining to other people how they can benefit from property investing.
And let's get going into this episode. We're going to start off obviously talking about SSAS pensions and what they are. If you'd like to kick things off, because you know a lot more than I do.
Yeah, I don't know everything, but we have a SSAS pension and it took quite a while to get set up. So there's lots of steps to go through. So a SSAS pension is very similar to a SIP, so it's self-invested private pension or self-administrated pension. So these are set up very similar to normal pensions. It can be either for one person or multiple people. With a SSAS, you can have up to 11 people in it, and it's linked to your limited company. So for us, we have a SSAS pension that we have 4 people in at the moment, and everybody pays in a little bit each month. But I also transferred money in from other pensions into it as well to allow us to kind of get things moving. And what it does is it allows you to have your fund of cash, and instead of investing it in stocks and shares, you can invest it in commercial property, or you can invest it in other people's property deals. So if you know somebody that's looking for investment into a property, you can lend them the money and get that back over time. So you can actually become an investor to help other property investors.
So in terms of how the pension works, so normal pensions obviously work where it's just for one person. So when you've got multiple people in a pension, what is the logistics behind that?
So you still have one pension account where all the fund is in there, but as and when you pay money in, obviously you have to list whose money that is, and then the administrators will keep an eye on who's got how much in, and effectively all the money's pooled into one thing, but you all have a different amount of how much you paid in and also how much is profited over the last few years as well.
So although you are the owner of the company, when you die, does the pension stop or?
No, that's the best thing about the SSAS is it continues going. So normally when you come to retirement, you'd have to buy annuities with your pension. So you'd lump sum, you'd go and buy an insurance policy that would pay out so many thousands of pounds a year per every 100,000. And it's usually not much, to be honest. So it is a bit of a scam as such. If you're on a final salary pension, stick with that because that's going to make you a fortune. But a normal pension where you pay in each month and it gets invested in securities or in bonds really doesn't actually bring much to you. I think it's about 2.5% for every 100,000 you got in a pension. So if you imagine that, that's £2,500 per year per 100,000 you got in. So if you had 200,000 in, that's 5,000 a year you're going to get as your pension.
God.
Not per month. And then once you die or you run out of that pot, it's gone. It's finished. So you can't hand it to your children. So with a SSAS, it's linked to the company. So the directors and people that's in the company itself pay into it, and you can have up to 11 people. So it's good for a family business. It's good for covering the board or whatever in a company. But we're using it as a legacy because yes, it's been funded mostly by mine up front. But as we progress buying properties under the SSAS, it'll increase in value and the rents coming in will increase. And so in time, the whole of our family will be able to benefit from that one pension.
Yeah.
And for generations to come.
In terms of what we are doing in particular, do you want to share all about our project for the year.
Yeah, so like I said, we set our SSAS pension up and it took forever. It took about 18 months to get it in, passed by HMRC and then funding. Probably July last year, we noticed that there was a property local to Blackpool that was up for sale. It needed a lot of renovating and it was an ideal commercial property for us to really get our teeth into. It meant our pension company could buy the property with no mortgage and renovate the property with no mortgage. There was no borrowing to do, so we was under no pressure to make sure we're getting a return very quickly. It gives us time to actually work this through. So it's a 16-bed hotel in Blackpool. It's not been run as a hotel since 2000 or a while ago, and it's not up to today's standard. It's not up to today's regs. So there's a lot of work to do. It's a 3-story building, and we're going to split it into 6 office suites so that we can help promote small businesses in the area, give them a home, give them somewhere to call as an office hub, and kind of start promoting that area of Blackpool. It's an up-and-coming area, just off the promenade at Ginn Square, so good parking, good access, that type of thing. So from our point of view, we can do this work, get it up and running over the next 12 months, make lots of content, make lots of videos.
Which we like, that is what we're always planning. Anything we can do that we can film and create content for makes our life a lot easier.
Yeah. But on the other side of it, it means that our property company, PPS, will actually work for our pension company to do the renovations. So we'll actually earn money off our pension by doing the work. So it's quite weird. It's our pension and we are trustees, and then we're going to charge our pension as a company to do the work and get it up to scratch. So yeah, it's a bit weird.
It's good though. So in terms of doing things like that, is that secure and is it safe? Is it something that people need to learn more about and the logistics of it?
Yeah, it's like everything else. It's another area of property investing that allows you to buy things and profit from it. Because it's a pension, you've been paying into a pension schemes all your career, whatever. It's all tax-free money. So it has to be ring-fenced by HMRC just to make sure that you don't go and invest in a hotel in Barbados and lose all your money, and it's just a way of getting your cash out tax-free. There's lots of stuff around it, so that you have to have multiple trustees, and then you have to have an independent trustee that we pay to make sure we follow all the rules.
And I can imagine, as with everything that we do in terms of property investment and things like that, there are a lot of rules, there are a lot of structures and loopholes and things like that. And these processes, we say it all the time, but patience is a virtue for all of the things that we have to do in our journey, but the outcome and the end results are worth all of the waiting for.
Yeah, in property, things will always get better. Unless the building falls down, things will always get better because property increases in value. The longer you hold on to something, the more valuable it becomes, the more profit you'll make with renting it out, and all these types of things just make it better and better the longer you hold it for. We hold this for a year, it will get it done up and we'll start to get it rented out. But in 10 years, we'd have had 10 years of rent, we'd have had 10 years of increasing in value, we'd have had more money going into the actual pension, and probably able to do it again and again, reusing that money. We may sell off part of the building to fund another purchase. So there's lots of things that we can do with that, and it gives you lots of flexibility. And the one thing I really enjoy is buying property without using my money, which is really good. But it goes hand in hand with that kind of philosophy of utilising and leveraging money that is there, and instead of just having it locked away in a bank account, it actually can be used for something positive.
In terms of the work that we need to do to achieve obviously our end goal, this involves help not just from ourselves and PPS, it involves help from other people. So what are the steps from buying a building that quite clearly needs a lot of work and renovating doing to it? Who do you need to kind of get on board to help you? Who do you need to hire as part of a team? That's quite an interesting thing that we need to explore. Other people that may be looking into investing in property with SSAS Pension.
So Obviously, if you buy a property that's already up and running and you can just use it, that's ideal. But you can't add value to that property easily. So from our point of view, we bought it for £90,000, and with another £50,000 of investment, we should be able to achieve two to £300,000 property, which then means, if we sell it, we can put all the profit back in, do it again and again and again. So from our point of view, we already have a good team. So we've got our pension already set up. We've got our independent trustee staff. We have to kind of convince her what we're doing will stay within the rules and regulations, and make sure HMRC is very happy with us. We've also have an architect that is local to the Blackpool area, and his job is basically trying to convert what's in my head and what I want to do into something that can go through planning and past building control. So he's got a really bad job of making sure that, that my ideas will actually work.
I can vouch for that because that's what I have to do with everything. But I mean, you're a man of very good ideas. It's just actually bringing them to fruition and
Yeah.
making something of it. But
Yeah.
so he's got a big job. Maybe me and him should catch up and have a few drinks to
Yeah,
recover.
I think we'll need to do a video with
him.
Scott,
Yeah, that would be
explaining
good.
about the drawings and how it's the process of going through it. So the architect Scott, he's now working with the planning department, put the application form together and going through planning, which should take another 12 weeks. This is why you need patience, because everything takes forever. And it just happens I was talking to the building control department today, because the property has had issues in the past with bits falling off the roof and that type of thing. There's costs coming in for the cordoned off area, and we're just making sure that can be taken away today to reduce those costs. And we're chatting about what we're trying to do, and they're really good to have on your side when you're trying to do these things, to kind of look at what we're trying to achieve from the start,
Yeah.
rather than you go to planning and then building control coming along after you're finishing saying, well, can you prove you've done this, that and the other, and make sure that all the regulations have been covered.
I think it's better as well. It can feel more frustrating when you're having to include people every step of the journey, but in the long run, it does help. And again, if you've got them on side, you've got that guidance and advice and things like that. The amount of people that I know have done stuff, and then regulation people or council people have come and said you can't do that, and find them, or you need to cut down. Especially when you're investing a lot of money, especially when it's your pension as well. You want to make sure everything you're doing is thought through and cost effective and works for everybody involved, so that you can get up and running as soon as possible.
These are all different people that you need on your team, or at least have good relationships with people so that you can call on them to ask for advice, or to call on them to see if there's come up with a solution. Because the way to approach any project like this is not to look at all the problems. There might be challenges, but there is always a solution. There's always something that you can do. Sometimes you have to spend money on it, but most of the times you can come up with a solution to avoid a problem in the future. But if you do nothing and talk to nobody, and then, like you said before, a fire officer comes to check and it's not up to standard, then there'll be hell.
And can I ask, so let's take something like the NHS, for example. When you leave your pension, you take that with you. So say somebody was to leave PPS, what would happen with their pension contribution if it's been used for this property?
Well, it would be calculated of how much they put in to then be a percentage of what the fund is worth, and then that would then be given a transfer value,
Okay.
and then that would be then allowed to transfer. The only issue with the SSAS pensions is the fact that if you have a government pension, NHS pension, or a armed forces pension, you're not allowed to transfer it into a SSAS. There are certain pensions out there that won't allow you to transfer your money. So even though there's lots of people with these pensions, they're not allowed to do anything with, which is not great. So it's something that you need to be aware of, but it's always a good idea to talk to your pension that you've got already on multiple pensions and see what you can get transfer values, because you may find that you've got 500,000 or 800,000 in the bank just waiting for you to then go and buy a commercial property, and you could actually start doing your investing because you didn't know that the money was there and available for you to use. So It's just one of those things that you need to be on top of and get advice about. We don't give advice on this, but we can tell you what we're doing and what we have done. Just be prepared, it can take a while.
Yeah. But it's going to be a really exciting year. As we've said, we're going to be filming content throughout for our social channels, and there's going to be lots of renovation videos and makeovers in the process. But it's going to be a really fun project. We've got everybody in the business involved, and I'm really excited for this time next year when we're really kind of seeing some results. Everything's a little bit of a journey, so I'm sure we'll have some tales to tell. This will be a process of little catch-ups. We'll let you guys know on the podcast and on socials where we're getting up to, and you can always follow us on PPS Property Management. We'll put that information in our bio, and you can just keep up to date with what we're doing.
And the windows get delivered tomorrow.
How exciting. Yeah, all of the windows are being redone, aren't they?
Yes.
And there's a whole wall that they've covered all the windows. So what's happening with that?
We're knocking the walls
We're
back.
knocking the walls back. I was going to say, because that's really weird. I've never seen a window on one side and a brick wall on the other. No wonder it's so dark in that building on the inside.
Yeah. In that one room, it's very dark.
Who made that decision? I want to know. Why did they do that? But no, it's going to be really exciting. And we've got a walk around video on our social platforms as well on PPS if you want to have a look at what it currently looks like and the work that needs to be done. There's a few holes in the floor and lots of lovely bits that need doing, but we are really excited for this project.
The bar looks like it's inside of a ship.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that's got to go.
I think some people will be heartbroken to see that go, but it's just not in a great condition. We can't leave it as it is.
No.
We've also got a highlight on PPS as well, all about this project. So it's a really easy way to find all of the updates and little videos and clips that we've been filming. And we're excited to see that fill up. So that's it for this episode. If you do have any more questions regarding SSAS Pension, please just leave us a comment on any of our social channels and we will be sure to get back to you. And we'd love to see where you guys get up to, if anybody is onwards with a SSAS Pension application or what you've managed to do with a SSAS Pension. It's something that we're really excited to embark on in our journey, and we hope that you have learnt something from this episode.
So if you like this episode, you can like it, subscribe, ring that bell on YouTube, on Spotify and iTunes. If you give us reviews, that'd be brilliant. 5-star reviews are awesome. It'll keep us going. We actually got some information that we were in the top 230 on iTunes for investing.
I think that's very, very good.
Which is very, very good. And that was only after 2 episodes, and this is episode 4, so that's even better. Comment below, subscribe, and keep following us. Look at our Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok channels, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.